इस लाइव सेशन में हम लोग सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स पढ़ने वाले हैं। इसको पूरा कंप्लीट करेंगे और फिर हम लोग दूसरे पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है। और इसके बाद जेनेटिक्स का क्रोमोसोमल डिसऑर्डर जो है वो पढ़ लेंगे। फिलहाल ये पढ़ते हैं। Flower is a modified shoot which shows favorable adaptation for reproduction through a special method, ठीक है। Flower is a modified shoot which shows favorable adaptation through a special method. And flower consists of calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Flowers consist of calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Flowers are morphological and embryological structure and are the sites of sexual reproduction. Flowers are morphological and embryological structures and are the sites for sexual reproduction. What are monocarpic plants? The plants in which flowering and fruiting takes place only once in whole lifespan are called monocarpic plants. And the example, annual and biennial plants. Polycarpic plants, the plants in which flowering and fruiting takes place many times in the entire lifespan, are known as polycarpic plants, perennial plants. Okay, so perennial plants and monocarpic plants. Monocarpic plants in which only gives lifespan, in which flowering and fruiting takes place only once in lifetime, and uh, polycarpic plants which flowering and fruiting takes place many times in the entire lifespan are known as polycarpic plants. Okay. Example, bamboo, palm, banana, sanctuary plant are perennial plant. Bamboo, palm, banana, sanctuary plant are perennial plant, but they are example of monocarpic plants. Exception. So they are the fruiting bodies and flowering with many times in their lifespan, but they are example of monocarpic plants. Okay. Bamboo, palm, banana, sanctuary plant. যে সমস্ত গাছ ভালো করে বোঝার জন্য চল একটু বাংলায় ব্যাখ্যা করি। যে সমস্ত গাছ তাদের সারা জীবনে মাত্র একবার ফুল ফোটায় ও ফুল ধরে তাদের মনোকার্পিক প্লান্টস বলা হয়। একবার ফুল ও ফল ধরার পরে গাছগুলি মারা যায়। উদাহরণ, অ্যানুয়াল উদ্ধত 1 বছরে তাদের জীবনচক্র সম্পূর্ণ হয়। বাইনেনিয়াল 2 বছরে তাদের জীবনচক্র অ্যানুয়াল অ্যান্ড বাইনেনিয়াল 2 বছরে তাদের জীবনচক্র সম্পূর্ণ হয়। পলিকার্পিক প্লান্টস হিসেবে যদি বলা হয়, যে সমস্ত গাছ তাদের সারা জীবনে অনেকবার ফুল ফোটা ও ফল ধরে তাদের পলিকার্পিক বলা হয়। বহু বছর ধরে বেঁচে থাকে এবং বারংবার ফুল ও ফল হয়। ব্যতিক্রম এক্সেপশন কিছু গাছ বহুবার্ষিকী হলেও তারা মনোকার্পিক হয়, মানে তারা অনেক বছর বেঁচে থাকে কিন্তু শুধু একবারই ফুল ফোটায় ও ফল দেয়, তারপর মারা যায়। উদাহরণ বাঁশ, খেজুর গাছ, কলা গাছ আর অ্যাগেভ আমেরিকা সেঞ্চুয়ারি প্লান্ট। মূল কথা, মনোকার্পিক একবার ফল ফুল তারপর মারা যায়। পলিকার্পিক বারংবার ফল ফুল, দীর্ঘজীবী। বাঁশ, কলা, খেজুর ইত্যাদি বহুবার্ষিকী হলেও একবারই ফুল ফল ধরে, তারা তাই ব্যতিক্রম। ঠিক আছে? সো monocarpic plants are those plants which give flower and fruiting only once in their lifetime. Example, annual means after only for 1 year they give and they die. Biennial only for one time in their lifespan and in the 2 years they will die. And next is perennial plants, মানে এরা বহু বছর ফল ফুল দেওয়ার পরেও দীর্ঘজীবী হয় আর বেঁচে থাকে। কিন্তু এক্সেপশন হচ্ছে খেজুর গাছ, বাঁশ আর আমেরিকান কলা গাছ, যেগুলো মনোকার্পিক প্লান্ট, কিন্তু এরা একবার ফল ফুল দিয়েই দীর্ঘজীবী বেঁচে থাকে। ঠিক আছে, আশা করি বোঝা গেল। তো ফ্লাওয়ার হচ্ছে একটা মডিফাইড শুট, যেটা ফেভারেবল অ্যাডাপ্টেশনে ফর রিপ্রোডাকশন থ্রু আ স্পেশাল মেথড হয়। ফ্লাওয়ার কনসিস্ট অফ ক্যালিক্স, করোলা, অ্যান্ড্রোয়েশিয়াম অ্যান্ড গাইনোয়েশিয়াম. Flowers are morphological and embryological structure and are the sites of sexual reproduction. Okay, so I hope you learned this. Now, pre-fertilization structures and events. Androecium, male reproductive structure, consists of whole of stamens. Female reproductive structure consists of ovary and stigma. Now, explain pre-fertilization, structures and events in প্রি-ফার্টিলাইজেশন ইভেন্ট মানে হচ্ছে নিষেক পূর্বগঠন এবং ঘটনা। নিষেক পূর্ব ঘটনাগুলি মূলত সেই ধাপগুলিকে বোঝায় যা গ্যামেট গঠন এবং নিষেকের আগে ঘটে। নিষেক মানে হচ্ছে ফার্টিলাইজেশন। গঠনগত গঠিক, স্ট্রাকচারাল অ্যাসপেক্ট, পুরুষ জনন অঙ্গ, মেল রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ স্ট্রাকচার, পুরুষ পুকেশ্বর, অ্যান্ড্রোয়েশিয়াম পুকেশ্বর, অ্যাথার, ফিলামেন্ট। স্ত্রী জনন অঙ্গ, গর্ভমণ্ডল, যা গাইনোসিয়াম। গর্ভমণ্ডল, গাইনোসিয়ামের বাংলা বল। গাইনোসিয়ামের বাংলা গর্ভমণ্ডল। আর অ্যান্ড্রোয়েশিয়ামের বাংলা হচ্ছে পুংকেশ্বর। গর্ভমণ্ডল। ডিফার্টিলাইজেশন ইভেন্ট, নিষেকের আগের ঘটনা। ফার্টিলাইজেশন মানে হচ্ছে নিষেক। না, নিষেকের আগে ঘটনাটা ভুলে গেলি? নিষেকের আগে যখন যেটা হয় পুরুষ জন্মাঙ্গ পুণ্যকেশর ও পুংকেশর অ্যান্ড্রেসিয়াম স্ট্যামেন পুংদণ্ড ফুলের পুরুষ অংশ যা পুরুদণ্ড অ্যান্ড্রেসিয়াম মেল রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ স্ট্রাকচার কনসিস্ট stamens. Explain in Bengali but don't change the terms. মেল রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ স্ট্রাকচার অ্যান্ড্রেসিয়াম হলো পুরুষের রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ পার্ট যা স্ট্যামেনের দ্বারা গঠিত সো কনসিস্ট অফ হোল অফ স্ট্যামেন্স স্ট্রাকচার স্ট্যামেন আর অফ টু টাইপস anther and filament okay anther and filament consist of whole of stamens gynoecium female reproductive structure consist of ovary female ovary style and stigma stamen microsporophyll and pollen grain okay so stamen filament long thin and slender stalk like structure joins the stamen to thalamus anther solen spore bearing structure anther dithecus each lobe having two theca bilobed have two lobes tetragonal structure 4 microsporangia located at the corner two each in each lobe tetragonal structure 4 microsporangia আবার এনেছে তুমি খেও না tetragonal structure 4 microsporangia located at the corners 2 in each lobe 4 microsporangia located at the corners 2 in each lobe a typical stamen 3-dimensional structure of microsporangia the microsporangia develop further and become pollen sacs they extend longitudinally all through the length of an anther and are packed with pollen grains microsporangia is surrounded by 4 layers of cells epidermis endothelium middle layer tapetum extends longitudinally connective tissue epidermis endothelium sporogenous tissue epidermis endothelium middle layer function protection and helps in dehiscence of the tapetum nourishes developing pollen grains Tapetum nourishes developing pollen grains. Okay. Uh, কি বললো? গাড়ি দেখাতে আসছে। Pollen development, the microspores mature into pollen grains. Pollen release, the anther dices, allowing pollen to be dispersed for pollination. Microspore formation, it undergoes meiosis to produce haploid microspores. Okay. Transverse section of cells of the tapetum possess dense cytoplasm and generally have more than one nucleus. They extend longitudinally all through the length of an anther and are packed with pollen grain. Microsporangium is surrounded by four wall layers: epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, tapetum. Middle layer diffuse. Tapetum nourishes the developing pollen grains. Endothecium gives the mechanical support, and epidermis outer covering, okay, protection, and helps in the essence of anther to release the pollen. Sporogenous tissue undergo meiosis, meiotic division. Sporogenous tissue undergo meiotic division.
रणबीर कपूर बन के आओगे, तुम आलिया भट्ट बन के आ गए। क्या लगता है कितने दिन में वापस आ जाएगी? मेरे को 1 महीने के लिए काल कोठरी में डाल दो, मुझे नहीं देखना ये सब। बाल बन के आ गए। मुझे भी लास्ट में इतने छोटे बाल करवाने थे ना, तुमने मना किया तो मैंने करवाए, नहीं कराए ना। तुम्हें मैंने मना किया ये शेव नहीं करना है तो तुम देखो इस बार कर दिया मैंने, माफ कर दिया। आगे से ऐसे बस खत्तू बस ये मेरे को लगा था तुम रणबीर कपूर बन के आओगे, तुम आलिया भट्ट बन के आ गए। क्या लगता है कितने दिन में वापस आ जाएगी? मेरे को 1 महीने के लिए काल कोठरी में डाल दो, मुझे नहीं देखना ये सब। बाल बन के आ गए। मुझे भी लास्ट में इतने छोटे बाल करवाने थे ना, तुमने मना किया तो मैंने कर। बेबी पापा मान गए। हाँ मेरे को भी यकीन नहीं हो रहा, बट फाइनली। अच्छा सुनो मेरी बात सुन, कल जब तुम घर आओगे ना तो तुम संभाल लेना। तुम्हें पता है सब डरे हुए हैं, इमोशनल है। अगर थोड़े स्ट्रिक्ट हो जाए, कुछ कह दो तो प्लीज दिल में कुछ मत रखना। वो तुमसे नफरत नहीं करते, इट्स जस्ट मेरे से बहुत ज्यादा प्यार। तुम यहाँ संभालो, मैं तुम्हारे वहाँ सब संभालूंगा। पैसे ही नहीं बचते यार, कितना। और तुम इतने अच्छे बन के कहाँ जा रहे हो? इधर बैठो, चुपचाप इधर बैठो। कहीं नहीं जाओगे तुम, चुपचाप यहीं बैठो। किसने बोला तुम इतने अच्छे बन के बाहर जाने के लिए? चेंज कर लो, कहीं नहीं जाओगे। अच्छा ठीक है जाओ, लेकिन किसी से बात मत करना, ठीक है?
let's complete. Uh, 4 pollen sacs are present in the anther. Pollen sacs are also known as microsporangia. Inside the pollen sacs, microspores are formed by the meiotic division of microspore mother cell. Inside the pollen sac, the microspore are formed by the division of microspore mother cell. The process of formation of microspore from a pollen mother cell through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. The process of formation of microspore from a pollen mother cell through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. Sporogenous tissue, it is a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells that occupies the center of each microsporangium of young anther. The process of formation of microspores from a pollen mother cell through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. The process of formation of microspore from a pollen mother cell through meiosis is called microspore. Sporogenous tissue, it is a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells that occupies the center of each microsporangium of young anther. Cells of sporogenous tissue, microspore pollen mother cell, 4 microspore pollen grain released in the dehiscence of anther. Pollen grain. Walls of pollen grain, exine, outer layer, thick, hard and rigid, made up of sporopelenin, most resistant organic material, and material known. Intine inner layer, thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. Thin and inner layer, thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. Thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. Walls of pollen grain, exine, outer layer, thick, hard and rigid, made up of sporopelenin, the most resistant organic material known. Intine inner layer, thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. Dehiscence at 2 cell stage win over 60% angiosperm and 3 cell stage in the remaining species. Generative cell, small and float in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. Small and float in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. Spindle shaped with dense cytoplasm and a nucleus. Spindle shaped and with dense cytoplasm and a nucleus. Genetic cells, no on. Genetic pollen grain, male gametophyte, mature pollen grain contains 2 cells, vegetative, generative, bigger and has abundant food reserve, largely irregular shaped nucleus. Genetic, small and float in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. It is like this: vegetative cell and generative cell. Small in the cytoplasm, spindle shaped with dense cytoplasm, largely irregular shaped nucleus. Largely irregular shaped nucleus. Okay. Size 25 to 50 micrometer in diameter, shape spherical, viability 30 minutes in rice and wheat, for months in some members of Leucaceae, Leguminaceae and Solanaceae, for many years -190 degrees 6 degree at liquid nitrogen storage. Can be used as pollen banks in crop breeding programs. Okay. Let's move to vegetative cell and native cell. Pollen grain Advantages: rich in nutrients, used as food supplements, increase the performance of athletes and racehorses. Disadvantage: causes allergies and bronchial applications that may lead to chronic respiratory disorder. Parthenium or carrot grass came into India as a contaminant with imported wheat caused pollen allergy. Now the pistil, megasporangium and the ambrosac. What is that? The free unit of gynecium is called pistil or carpel. The free unit of gynecium is called pistil or carpel. Stigma, landing platform is called pistil or carpel. तेरे सखा तेरी निगाह होगी, तू ही सखा तेरे नजर लागी, ओ कम से तेरी चलना थी राज में। ओरे सखी मंगल गाहो जी, तोड़ी सखी पता नहा हो जी, ओ करके वाद संगल माँ तलासना, ओ ताला संगला माना लाल ला। देखो ना कैसी है। Okay, pistil, megasporangium, ovule and embryo. 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 एक दूसरे में हिफाजत हुई। देखो न कैसे
Hi. Hello. Where are you from? मैं बढ़िया हूँ, आप कैसे हो? How to balance emotional story. I'm from naturally. You live in United Kingdom. That's great. You have many qualities. But you live in United Kingdom. Also, you can also lie very frankly. That's also out about. How did you master your life? Quality. I can relate you with one language. You guys, both of you guys are same. And now will appear. Guys, Kausar Chaudhary, who is commenting on my live streaming? I saw him behind. I saw him behind.
know that everything is fine. Yes, I think everything is fine. तो 10 क्वेश्चन आगे पूछते दोनों. मुझे पता है ऑलरेडी तुम्हारे क्वेश्चन फटाक से बता देता हूँ. बाकी फिर भी तुम्हारी कोई भी क्वेरी हो मुझे बता देना. आई विल क्लैरिफाई ना. बस सबसे पहले शेयर इट विद एवरीवन.
स्टूडेंट जर्नी में लाइक 10th बोर्ड में 11th 12th अपनी
অ্যাডভান্স সয়া চাংস এতে আছে 5 কাটা মানে প্রোটিনের শক্তির সঙ্গে পুষ্টি ইমিউনিটি গ্রোথ আর এনার্জি এমামি অ্যাডভান্স সয়া চাংস
Welcome to SpaceX. Here we're in the lobby. It's very white right now, but there are actually some cool elements coming in soon that will make it less white. In the front of the building, we have our engineering offices and space for about 300 people per floor. We've got a total of about 3 limit communication at our cube.
You're here in the company, and we're working on lots of Falcon 1 deals, Falcon 9 deals.
RCS. David is
making the assembly documentation for the Draco.
okay.
RCS.
David is driving the development of our in-space thruster, which is called Draco. Yeah, there's a little piece of it. Well, actually, that's just a sample that's sprung in cone, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing all our Texas testing at our facility down.
With our customers and so really engineering centric.
Minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Max Q. Booster to cut off. Stage separation. Boost preference startup.
Being launched to this go power catch.
We are go for booster return. Booster network shutdown. Looks like we have lost ship.
Okay. Pistil, stigma, style, and ovary. We will complete pistil after doing another topics. First, let's complete pollination. The process of transfer and deposition of pollen grains from the anther to the stigmatic surface of the flower is called pollination. The process of transfer of and deposition of pollen grains from the anther to the stigmatic surface of the flower is called pollination. It is an essential event in the sexual reproduction of seed-bearing plant. It is an essential event in the sexual reproduction of seed-bearing plant. There are two traits. There are two main types of pollination: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Pollination, cross-pollination. So pollen grains, stigmatic surface, transfer and deposition of pollen grain. It is an essential event in sexual reproduction of seed-bearing plants. Cross-pollination, xenogamy or allogamy, flowers from different plants of the same species. Flowers from different cross-pollination, xenogamy, flowers from different plants of the same species. Flowers from different plants of the same species. Pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of the flower of another plant. It occurs unisexual. Self-pollination, pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of either the same flower or another flower born on the same plant. Means this, either this or either this, and this is from different plant. Flowers from different plants of the same species. Flowers from the different plants of the same species. Classical mechanics. मोहम्मद अस्तिफ अली, आईएटी, ये क्या है आईएटी? मैं नहीं जानता मोहम्मद आईएटी के बारे में। IISER एग्ज़ाम दीजिए, फॉर्म निकल चुका है। एग्ज़ाम दीजिए, फॉर्म निकल चुका है। वेबसाइट में जाकर फॉर्म फिलअप कर दीजिए। प्रिपरेशन के बारे में फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री पढ़िए अच्छे से, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री अच्छे से पढ़िए। और मैं वेस्ट बंगाल से हूँ भाई। थैंक यू मोहम्मद अस्तिफ अली, आपने कमेंट किए। मेरा एग्ज़ाम है 4 मई को, और मैं अभी पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ बायोलॉजी, और मोबाइल से भी पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ। और आप 6 7 आवर्स पढ़ लेते हैं, बहुत बढ़िया, कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन। ठीक है, बनाइए रूटीन, बहुत बढ़िया। Autogamy, self-pollination. Pollen grains are transferred. Pollen grains are transferred मेरे क्लास 12 में 88%, 88। Autogamy, same flower. Geitonogamy, cross pollination, and that is xenogamy, flowers of different plants of the same species. Okay, थैंक यू मोहम्मद। आपका कितना था क्लास 10 में परसेंटेज? मोहम्मद अस्तीफ अली, आपका कितना था क्लास 10 में परसेंटेज? Xenogamy, flowers from different plants of the same species. Pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of the flower of another plant. It occurs in unisexual flowers. Pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of either the same flower or another flower borne on the same plant. Pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of either the same flower or another flower borne on the same plant. And cross pollination, different plants of the same species. And self autogamy, same flower. Geitonogamy, different flower of the same plant. Okay, so cross pollination, it is unisexual. अच्छा, आपका रिजल्ट नहीं आया, अभी दिए हो? अच्छा, ठीक है, रिजल्ट बता देना जब आएगा। अच्छे से पढ़ाई कीजिए, अभी तो आपका बहुत समय है। Autogamy, same flower. Geitonogamy, AIR1 देखते हैं, वो तो पता नहीं कैसा होगा। चलिए अभी पढ़ाई करते हैं, फिर मार्क्स आ जाएगा अपने आप। Pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of the same flower. Pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of the different flower of the same plant. Self-pollination, it is a transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or another flower borne on the same plant. Autogamy, cleistogamy. Cleistogamy, plants remain closed to ensure complete self-pollination. Plants remains closed to ensure complete self-pollination. Their flowers are small, colorless, and do not secrete nectar. Their plants are colorless and do not secrete nectar. Air plants are colorless. Flowers are small, colorless, and do not secrete nectar. Commelina, Bengalinis, Oxalis, Viola. Commelina, Bengalensis, Oxalis, Viola. Chasmogamous flowers are similar to flowers of other species with exposed anthers and stigma. Bird pollination, flowers mature before the opening of the bud to ensure self-pollination. Example: wheat, rice, pea, etc. Homogamy, maturation of anthers and stigma of a flower at the same time is called homogamy. Advantages of self-pollination. Chances of pollination are more. Bird pollination, flowers. Self-pollination, plant dating itself. How? Imagine a plant is so independent that it doesn't need a partner, it can reproduce all by itself. How? Pollen moves from the anther male part to the stigma female of the same flower, like a flower hyphaing itself. A different flower on the same plant, like sibling helping each other. Okay. Types of self-pollination. Autogamy, solo mission. The flower pollinates itself, no external help needed. Cleistogamy, the shy flower. Cleistogamy, the shy flower. Flowers stay closed forever like a locked diary. No colors, nectar, no need to attract bees. Example: viola, some violets, oxalis, shamrock plants. Okay, viola, commelina, oxalis, and viola. Chasmogamy, normal but still solo. Flowers open like usual but still self-pollinate like someone at a party who talks only to themselves. Okay, normal but still solo. Flowers open like usual but still self-pollinated like someone at a party who talks only to themselves. Okay. Bird pollination, teenage marriage. Bird pollination happens inside the bud before the flower even opens. Okay, like an arranged marriage at birth. Example: peas, wheat, rice. Bird pollination. Pollination happening inside the bud. Okay, flowers mature before the opening of the bud to ensure self-pollination. So, like teenage marriage, flowers open like pollination happens inside the bud before pollination happen inside the bud. Bud pollination, like flowers pollination occurs inside the bud before it actually opens, even before the flowers open. It is like teenage marriage. Ah, teenage marriage. Peas, wheat, rice. Pea, wheat, rice. Pea, wheat, rice. Homogamy. Perfect timing. Anther and stigma mature at the same time like two clocks syncing perfectly. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Flower at the same time is called uh, teenage marriage. Chasmogamous, normal but still solo. Normal but solo. Chrysogamous, the shy flower. Okay. Bonus analogies for wind or water pollution. Wind, the sacrum approach. Pollen is released like a confetti. Hope it lands somewhere useful. Features light pollen, feathery stigma, grasses. With water, the rare swimmer, only a few plants. Sea grasses use water to float pollen like tiny boats. How to remember self pollination? Plant tinder. Plant tinder, swipe right on yourself. Cleistogamy, closed for business. Homogamy, sync your clocks. Okay, self pollination. Plant tinder. Swipe right on yourself. Cleistogamy. Closed for business. Homogamy, sync your clock. Why can't a cleistogamous flower attract bees? Answer: it is closed and has no color or nectar. Advantages of self-pollination. Chances of pollination are more. Self-pollination maintains purity of race and avoid mixing. It need not produce a large number of pollen grains. Flower need not to possess devices such as large and showy petals, presence of scent and nectar, etc. to attract pollinators. Advantages of self-pollination. Chances of pollination more. Self-pollination maintains purity. Disadvantages: progeny continuously gets weaker after every generation, less chances of production of new species and variety. Adaptation of flower for pollination. Pollination by wind is more common amongst abiotic pollinators. Both wind and water pollinated flowers are not colorful and do not produce nectar. Both wind and water pollinated flowers are not colorful and do not produce nectar. Types of pollination on the basis of pollinating agent: abiotic genesis, anemophily wind, hydrophily water, Biotic agencies, entomology insects, autonomoly birds, chiropody bats, microvilli snails, and microvilli ants. Biotic agents. Wind and water are abiotic agents, also known as anemophily and hydrophily. Biotic agents are insect, birds, bats, snails, and ants. Wind pollination, anemophily. Pollen grains light, non-sticky, winged, easily transported. Stamen well exposed so that pollen grains are easily dispersed. Stamen. Stigma large and feathery. Flower one ovule arranged as inflorescence. Example corn cob. Water pollination, hydrophily, bryophytes, pteridophytes, algae. Pollen gland protected by mucilaginous covering. Example freshwater plants like Valisnera hydrilla. Sea grasses, Zoostera produce pollen grains in large number, do not produce nectar. Female flower remains submerged. Zoostera, female flower remains submerged. Okay, so produce pollen grain in large number, do not produce nectar. Female flower remains submerged. Pollen grain protected by mucilaginous covering. Example freshwater plant Vaisnala hydrilla. Pollen grains long ribbon like. Seagrass and Roostera, pollen grains are long ribbon like, released inside water, carried by water currents to reach female flower. Okay, Valisneria, female flower reach the water surface by long coiled stalk. Male flower or pollen grain released onto water surface, carried by water current. Some eventually reach the stigma. Okay, so this is the all wind pollen water. Wind pollination, pollen grains light, non-sticky, wing transport, stamen well export so that pollen grains are easily dispersed. Stigma large and feathery. Flower one ovule arranged as inflorescence. Example corn cob. Bryophytes, pteridophytes, algae, pollen grains protected by mucilaginous covering. Example freshwater plant Valisneria hydrilla produce pollen grains in large number, do not produce nectar. Female flower remains submerged. Pollen grains long ribbon like, released inside water, carried by water currents to reach female flower. Okay, produce pollen grains in large number, do not produce nectar. Seagrass, Zoostera. Pollen grains are covered by mucinous bryophytes, pteridophytes, and algae. Mesolisneria, female flower reach the water surface by long coiled stalk called male flower or pollen grains released onto water surface, carried by water currents. Some eventually reach the stigma. Insect pollinators, flower largely colorful, fragrant, rich in nectar, pollen grains sticky, and stigma also sticky. So here it is all are non-sticky. Okay. Pollen grain sticky, stigma sticky. Colorful, large, fragrant, rich in nectar and edible pollen grains as food. Nectar and edible pollen grain as food provide safe place for laying eggs. Example Amorphous and Yucca plant. Amorphous and Yucca plant. Amorphous and Yucca plant. Valisneria and Hydrilla are the examples of water pollinations. And wind example corn cob, and insect is example of Amorphous and Yucca. Largely colorful, fragrant, rich in nectar, sticky, nectar and edible pollen grain as food and provide a safe place for laying eggs. Although gytonogamy as a functionally cross-pollination agent involve a pollinating agent, genetically it is similar to autogamy since the pollen grains come from the same plant. Okay, gytonogamy, different flowers of the same plant, is relatively like autogamy because it is coming from the same plant on the different flower. Okay, pollination by water is quite rare in flowering plants and is limited to about 30 genera, mostly monocotyledons. Pollination by water is mostly rare and it is limited to about 30 genera, mostly monocotyledons. Outbreeding devices are mechanisms which are followed and adapted by the plant in order to prevent self-pollination. Outbreeding devices and mechanisms which are followed and adapted in plants are in order to prevent self-pollination. Outbreeding devices are mechanisms which are followed and adapted by the plants in order to prevent pollination continuous. का बे चल हट. Outbreeding devices are the mechanism in which the followed and adapted by the plants in order to prevent self-pollination. Continuous self-pollination reduce inbreeding involves inbreeding depression, and outbreeding devices anther and stigma placed at different position. Pollen release and stigma respectively are not synced. इज्जत से बात करियो. अबे तेरे से कौन इज्जत से बात करेगा बे. Don't teach how to talk. Pollen release and stigma receptivity are not synchronized. Pollen is released before the stigma becomes receptive. Stigma becomes receptive much before the release of pollen. Sometimes pollen is released before the stigma. Sometimes stigma becomes receptive much before the pollen release. Self-incompatibility prevents self-pollen from fertilizing the ovules by inhibiting the pollen germination and pollen tube growth in the pistil. Production of unisexual flowers. Monoecious plant. Both male and female flowers are present on the same plant. Example, castor and maize. Dioecious. Monoecious, both male and female are present on the same plant. Dioecious, male and female flowers present on different plant. Example, papaya. This condition gives both autogamy and geitonogamy. Pollen pistil interaction. All the events from deposition of pollen on stigma till the pollen tube enters the ovule. These are recognition of compatible pollen, germination of pollen grains, development of male gametophyte. Pollen pistil interaction. All the events from deposition of pollen on stigma till the pollen tube enters. These are recognition of compatible pollen, germination of pollen grains, development of male gametophyte. Next is artificial hybridization. It is one of the major approaches of crop to improvement program. The desired pollen grains are used for pollination and the stigma is protected from contamination. This is achieved by two techniques: emasculation and bagging. Emasculation, removal of anther from the flower bud before it dehiscence. Bagging, flower covered by a bag made up of butter to prevent contamination of stigma with unwanted pollen. Bag flower remains receptivity. Mature pollen grains dusted of the stigma. The flowers are rebagged and fruits allowed to develop. Double fertilization is the process of fusion of one male gamete with egg along with the union of second male gamete with the two polar nuclei are known as secondary nucleus. The central cell triple fusion becomes the primary endosperm cell and develops into endosperm while the zygote develops into embryo. This is known as double fusion. Double fertilization. Imagine a plant ovary is like a VIP club and the pollen is the bouncer with two special tickets, sperm cells. Imagine a plant ovary is like a VIP club and pollen is a bouncer with two special tickets. Pollen arrives at the ovule. Pollen grains lands on the stigma and grows a pollen tube like a slide into the club. Inside the tube, two sperm cells, the VIP guests. The double fertilization action. Sperm 1 fertilizes the egg cell, forms the zygote baby plant like a seed embryo. This is the future plant. Sperm 2 fuses with the polar nuclei, forms triploid endosperm. This is the snack pack for the baby. It is a starchy nutritive tissue. This is the snack pack for the fuses with the polar nuclei, forms triploid endosperm. This is a snack pack for the baby. It's a starchy or nutritive. Result: one zygote diploid 2n grows into plant embryo, one endosperm triploid 3n feeds the embryo like a lunch box. Why it is special? Only in flowering plant angiosperm. Other plants don't do this. Efficient: one pollination event, two fertilization. How to remember? Double date: two sperm plus two targets. Egg plus polar nuclei. Zygote plus snack. One makes the baby, the other makes its food. Tree and triple trouble. The sperm has three sets of chromosome. Weird but cool. Test: what's the job of sperm 2? Job of sperm 2 is to fuse with the polar nuclei. Okay. ডাবল ফার্টিলাইজেশন মনে আছে ভালোভাবে তোর মনে আছে কি কি করে হয় তুমি বলবো বল জিনিসটা तेरा ठीक है भूले কোনটা একটু কম করে এটা एक के पावर तो एक के पावर আর এটা সমান করে এটা আমি একটা দুই মাত্রায় গণনা করতে তো একটা মনে কর ভিআইপি ক্লাব আছে সেখানে তো দুটো স্পম সেল হচ্ছে চিফ গেস্ট ওরা হচ্ছে ভিআইপি গেস্ট আর ওখানে দুটো ওখানে মধ্যে ওখানে একটা স্পম সেল দিতে গেল एक আছে দুটো পোলার নিউক্লিয়াই আছে একটা স্পম সেল দিতে গেল ये एक ट्रांस করলো আর বেবি করলো বেবি হচ্ছে জাইগোট যেটা হচ্ছে 2n ডিপ্লয়েড আর একটা স্পম সেল কি করলো পোলার নিউক্লিয়াস সাথে ডেট করে ওর জন্য বানিয়ে দিল বেবিটার জন্য স্ন্যাক্স যেটা হচ্ছে এন্ডোস্পার্ম এটা নারিশ করলো বেবিটা তাই করে এন্ডোস্পার্ম হলো আর দুটো ওই ইউজ করে ওটা বানিয়ে দিল দিয়ে বেবি হলো একটা মানে বেবি স্ন্যাক দিয়ে আর বেবি হচ্ছে ফুড তাই না দুটো ये একটা ডেট করলে এক্সেল কে একটা ডেট করলে ওরা নিউক্লিয়াস কে ডেট করে স্ন্যাক্স বানিয়ে রেখে দিল বেবিটার জন্য আর ও যাই বেবি বানিয়ে চলে আর এই টিউবটা দিয়ে ল্যান্ড করে ওটা হলো স্লাইডে দিয়ে ল্যান্ড করে ক্লাবসের উপরে স্ট্রং টিউব দিয়ে স্লাইড করে ল্যান্ড করবে তাহলে তো কোনদিন ডাউন হবে না যে ওটা এই কি করে নিয়ে যাবে ব্যাস আজকে এইটুকুই পড়া, কালকে আবার হবে। हाँ बाय बाय। लाइव स्ट्रीम अभी खत्म कर रहा हूँ। सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन का पहला लेक्चर मैं बोल बता दिया।